Welcome to our fourth town hall. This is Pablo Ruiz, VP Engineering at Polymath. Um, as you know, these town hall webinars are meant for us, the tech team, to give some updates to our community regarding uh, news and different updates that we perform to our protocol and platform. And this time I'm on my own. The rest of the team is preparing to participate in EdCon in Toronto this week. So we'll be presenting Adam Dosa will be presenting some of the content that he has been sharing for the past few weeks here on these town hall meetings. So if you happen to be around Toronto at EdCon, please come by and say hi. So on this town hall, I'm going to go over the process on how to deploy a token on Polymath network. As we shared last week, we have released Polymath Toro to Ropsten testnet, and we have been doing some tests over Ropsten and deploying our own tokens. And last week we published this article, which is a step-by-step guide on how to get a token, a security token with Polymath on testnet. And later on, we are going to be publishing part 2 and part 3, which is getting some tokens minted to shareholders and whitelisting these shareholders so they can receive the tokens and trade them. And on part 3, we are going to deploy and launch our own security token offering, which will allow the whitelisted investors to participate in the STO that we create and later on trade the tokens with each other. So for this first part, what we are going to do is we are going to do live the first 2 steps, which is securing our own security token symbol, and then using that symbol that we registered to deploy a security token, an ST20, to the Ropsten network. So if you have any questions during this process, if you get stuck, let me know. I'll be checking for questions here on the webinar platform, and we can also later answer any questions that you have. I'll be stopping at each step, so or at least at every other step, so you can ask any questions and I can review them and get them answered, hopefully. So for this first part, and well, for the other 2 parts as well, throughout this guide, we are going to deploy our token using MetaMask, which hopefully you can see here on my screen. And we are going to use MyCrypto to interact with the smart contracts. So if you don't know how to use MetaMask or MyCrypto, there are a handful of tutorials out there on how to use them and how to interact with them. Basically, MyCrypto is a platform where you can send ETH or tokens to some other accounts, and it also offers a way to interact with existing smart contracts. And MetaMask, it's a Chrome, it's a browser plugin that allows you to access your wallet and sign transactions, so you can actually interact with other accounts, wallets, and smart contracts over the Ethereum network. So let's get started. So we are going to review first what the Polymath core architecture is, so we know what we are talking about, and we know which contracts, which smart contracts we need to interact with. So this is the Polymath core architecture. What we are going to do today is, since we are only going to deploy, register a token symbol, and then we are going to deploy a security token using that symbol that we registered, we are going to use these two smart contracts. The first of them is the ticket registry, which allows us to secure a token symbol over the Polymath network, which, by the way, they are unique. So if I deployed my Toro token, no one else would be able to deploy that token. That will be mine and mine only, as opposed to the typical ERC20 ICOs, where you could have a token, you could do an ICO for your token, for your utility token with the symbol, and there could be some other tokens that share the same token symbol. Here we are making them unique. Of course, they are also unique by the contract address. And then we also have this security token registry, which is in charge of taking these token symbols that have been registered by someone, and it's in charge of deploying the corresponding security token, ST20 based security token. So in this first part, we are going to interact with these two. As I said before, the ticket registry allows us to secure the token symbol, and then the security token registry allows us to actually deploy the token using that symbol that we previously registered. The reason why we have this in a two-step process, which could also be done in just one step, the reason we chose to do this in 2 steps is because from the moment that you register the token symbol to the moment that you are ready to actually deploy the token, there might be a lot of decisions that need to be made, internal discussions that need to be had in order to actually deploy the token. So it's not so much of a technical limitation, but it's more of a let's say business or business limitation in which deploying a security token, launching a security token, it's not an easy process, in the sense that you would have to have some discussions with business partners, with your board, with existing shareholders, with different firms, with advisory firms, legal firms, accounting firms. So we here on this guide, we are going to do this in almost immediately, but in real life, from the moment that you get your token symbol to the moment that you get that you actually launch your token, it could take weeks or even months after you have everything figured out. So so far, any questions? Okay. All right. So as I said, in the first part of the guide, by the way, you have this article that I wrote and we published last week with all the steps that we are going to go through on this webinar. And later this week, we are going to publish part 2, which, as I said before, is going to cover how to whitelist existing shareholders of your company and how to mint the corresponding tokens to them. And then part 3, coming the following week, we'll explore how to actually launch an initial offering with Polymath for your token. So let's get started. As I said before, we are the very first step in deploying a token is using the ticket registry to secure our own token symbol. This is what we did back here in this article when we registered the Toro token, which we are going to explore in a few minutes. And in order to interact with this ticker registry, which again is in charge of keeping track of all token symbols that get registered on Polymath network, we needed to find to use the smart contract that's been deployed on the ROPS10 network. Remember that we at Polymath we have already deployed these smart contracts, the ticker registry and the security token registry, which are the two smart contracts that we are going to use today to register and deploy the token. The first one is the ticker registry. So if we click here, we can see this smart contract on the ROPS10 testnet and all the transactions that have been done on this smart contract. Most of these have been tokens registered by members of our team, but hopefully if I click on any of these transactions, I will be able to see a token created by someone else. By the way, this address is one of mine, so all transactions that you see with this address, it's been done by me. So if I click on one of these, again, this is the ticker registry. This is where all the tokens symbols will be registered, and then when someone tries to deploy the actual security token, we first check that token symbol already exists in the registry and that it's been previously registered by the same account, by the same Ethereum address, so we know that it's the same person trying to now deploy the token that they created before. By the way, I'm looking at the token at the smart contract, sorry, on Etherscan, which is a block explorer, which is public for everyone to use and explore the transactions that happen over the Ethereum network. And remember, we are on ROPS10, which is one of the test nets where where our Toro release smart contract have been deployed to. So if I click here on the event logs, I should be able to see some details of the token. All of these values are in hexadecimal, but if I click here, I can change one of them to number or text. So as you can see, I changed this to text, and we can see that someone, it wasn't me, I don't know who it was, but probably someone from the Polymath team, registered this token with this symbol and this token name, and the other parameters are we also can see some of the other parameters that we'll explore in a few minutes regarding the token registration. So the first step for registering a token symbol on Polymath is we need to access this ticker registry smart contract, for which we are going to use MyCrypto and MetaMask to interact with MyCrypto and the smart contract, and to be able to sign transactions to work with this smart contract. So I'm going to head now to MyCrypto, which will allow us to interact with this smart contract. As you can see, well, if you go back to my original article and you see the screenshots I've been using for this article and for part 2 and 3, we have been using my Ether wallet. There have been some debate, and well, last week or the week before, there was some alleged hack on my Ether wallet. So even though I didn't change the article, you can use both. Right now, both of them, my Ether wallet and MyCrypto, share almost the same code base and UI. So you can use any of them. For this video, I'm going to use MyCrypto, so to show you that it's just the same thing. So if you see here on the article that we are using Validator wallet, don't worry, it's practically the same. So I'm going to go to my crypto in order to interact with any smart contract on Ethereum. There are two things that we need to provide to my crypto in order to access the different methods, functions, and parameters of or variables of this contract. The two things that we need is the contract address, so we know which contract we are trying to interact with, and the ABI, which stands for Application Binary Interface, which is some code that allows us to interact with the smart contract. It provides the interface for the smart contract to know what information it should be receiving from the outside and what information it should send back to the outside. So as I said before, in order to register a token symbol, we need to interact with the ticker registry, and for that we need its contract address and the ABI. The contract address, we can find it, given that we at Polymath we deploy this smart contract. When you do so, you get the smart contract address. So after we did that, we published the smart contract address. If you were the developer, writing the code and deploying the smart contract, you would find the smart contract address from the deployment process. Since we were the one at Polymath that deployed these tokens, we published the address. The address is here. So we are going to interact with ticker registry. As I said before, we need two things: the smart contract address, which we can get from here or from the browser navigation bar. I'm going to copy that here and paste it as the contract address. So this is the address of the ticker registry contract deployed on Ropsten. The other thing that we need, as I said, is the ABI of this smart contract. One way to get the ABI of a smart contract is, if you are the developer and you are coding the smart contract and you are deploying compiling the smart contract, you would be able to see the ABI. Given that this is a contract that we deployed and you wouldn't have access to that code, one feature that either can provide is you can, as the developer of a smart contract, you can verify the contract on Etherscan for other people to see. This is very important when, for example, when you are participating in an ICO as a contributor, you should try to read the smart contract code to see that the smart contract does whatever the developer, the company said the contract does. Of course, it helps if you are a developer, but in this case, we are going to use this code tab to find our ticker registry ABI. So if you go to Etherscan, you open the smart contract and go to the code tab, you will be able to see that some details about the smart contract. The first thing that we see is the contract name, which is the ticker registry. So we are in the right place. The other information isn't that useful to you guys, but the two things that I like to see is, first, the source code. This is the code that was used to deploy the smart contract, which was verified by us, which means we submitted the code to Etherscan and it got verified. So you know that if you interact with this smart contract, it does exactly what it says it does here. You can read the code, which is also available in our GitHub repository. And the other thing that you can see as we verify the smart contract is the ABI. So what we need to do now is we are going to copy the ABI you can just click here to copy it to your clipboard, and we are going to paste it here on my crypto. So I'm going to paste it here. So now I have the contract address of the ticker registry and its interface. I'm going to click here in access, which now gives us access to the different functions that this smart contract has. So here, by using this, I will be able to register a new token symbol. Before we do this, if I head here to the smart contract on Etherscan, the other thing that we can do once a smart contract has been verified on Etherscan is we can read the smart contract properties. So we can use this to easily check if certain token symbol have been used, have been reserved by someone else or not. So I'm going to enter a token symbol that I know have been already claimed, the Toro token, which we deploy to Polymath on Ropsten. If I click here on query, you can see that this method that I use, get details, returns this information. Basically, we have the Toro token, which is the name of the token, and well, the ticker name was Toro. So as you can see, if I try to get the details of the Toro token symbol, it returns something, which means that this token has been already registered. The other thing that we can see here is the address. This address, which is which Ethereum address is the owner of this token symbol, and this other value here is the expiration date for the token symbol registration. One thing that we are doing within Polymath network is you can register a token symbol and you have some time to deploy the token, the actual security token. As I said before, there's some time that you will need in order to fill out whatever papers that you need to fill, have all the conversations that you need to have internally and with different advisory firms before you are ready to deploy the token. But we are also adding this time restriction, so you can just sit on the token forever. If somebody wanted that token symbol and you haven't used it in some time, they will be able to claim it from you. So basically, right now, this is the time, the moment where this token symbol would expire if I didn't take action on it. I'm going to show you how to properly read this value in a few minutes. So let's go back to my crypto so we can work with this ticker registry. We are now going to secure a token of our own, a token symbol of our own. So I'm going to select here function. The function that we need to interact with from ticker registry is this one, register ticker. So I'm going to click on that. And when I click on register ticker, I'm shown these 4 fields, which I need to fill in order to secure my ticker, my token symbol. So the first thing that I need to enter is the owner, who's going to own this token symbol and be able to finish the process later on to actually deploy the security token. Here you can enter your own Ethereum address or somebody else's Ethereum address, and they will effectively be the owner of the token symbol, and they are the ones that are going to be capable of deploying the token. For now, for this example, we want to register our token to ourselves. So I'm going to open MetaMask here, and I'm going to copy my own address. So if you go to MetaMask, you click here on the plugin here at the top, you get your balance. Make sure that you are on Ropsten. You could choose some other network. Right now, these smart contracts are deployed to Ropsten and Rinkeby, which are two test nets, and soon we'll deploy it to mainnet as well. Right now, we are interacting with Ropsten testnet, so make sure that you are on Ropsten. Here you can see your ETH balance, and if you go here, if you click here on the menu, you can see the different tokens that you have and your ETH balance. If you click here, you can copy your own ETH address to the clipboard. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to paste that here. So this address, which is mine, is going to be the owner of this token symbol. Then we have to enter the token symbol that we want. So let's see. Okay. So I'm going to register this token symbol. First, what we can do is we can check that this token symbol actually is free. It's actually free. So I'm going to go back to Etherscan. Here on Get Details, I'm going to enter the token symbol. And as you can see, when I query for this token symbol, it's showing null, 0, false on all properties. So this tells us that this token symbol hasn't been used so far. So going back to my crypto, we know that Rain is going to be free, unless one of you does this before I can. Please don't. So Rain is free right now. Then we can enter a token name. This can be a fantasy name. This could be the name of your company, or if the token has a longer name, you can enter it here. So for example, the Rain token. So this is going to be my token name for now. And then this other field, we can leave this empty. This is basically here we could enter a hash of some other information, like if we wanted to submit some link to some documentation to prove that we are the owners of the trademark for this token name, or whatever information that you would like to submit and get it stored on IPFS, which is a file system that is persistent and is stored on chain. You can use this field to enter some other information. It's not mandatory, so we are not going to enter anything here. So with these three parameters, who's the owner, what the token symbol is, and what the token name is, we can now register our token symbol. For that, the next step is choosing how we want to access our wallet to interact with this smart contract. My crypto and my Ether wallet provide a few options for that. Sorry. One of them is MetaMask, which is the one that we are going to use now, but you could also use your hard wallet like Ledger or Trezor to access your wallet, or if you want for some reason to use your private key or your mnemonic phrase, you could do that as well. It's not recommended at all. You shouldn't do that. But you are given the chance to do that. But the secure way to access your wallet to prevent any theft of your funds is using MetaMask or your hard wallet. So we are going to use MetaMask. Clicking here will connect us to MetaMask. Remember to check that before you do that you are on Ropsten, and that basically that you are on Ropsten and well, MetaMask is on. So I'm going to click here on connect to MetaMask, which has validated us. So now when we click here on write, we are going to see this. So this screen, this pop-up is the step before we generate the actual transaction. What this is asking us to do is to enter some ETH that we want to send to the contract. In this case, there's no ETH transaction involved in the process of deploying the token symbol or the token itself. There's no ETH transaction, and the gas limit is how much gas we intend to spend on this transaction. By default, this will be calculated automatically. So in my case, I'm seeing this. So I'm going to click here on generate transaction, which is going to generate this transaction that we are going to send to MetaMask. So it performs the transaction. So once I click here, MetaMask will pop up, and now this is the last step before the transaction gets processed. We have to sign and send this transaction to the network by using MetaMask. This is a pop-up confirmation before that happens. So make sure that it's set here on Robsten. As you can see here, we are sending 0 ETH. This is just the only cost involved in this transaction has to do with the network's gas fees, which we can, if we wanted, we can edit here, so it's more or less expensive depending on how fast or how slow we want this transaction to be processed and mined. In my case, I'm going to enter a high gas price, so we get this in a few seconds. I'm going to save this. This is going to cost me $5 approximately, but well, first it's testnet money, and second, you could go as low as you want, as even 1 Gwei if you wanted. Of course, that's going to make the transaction take longer. For this webinar, I like this to go fast. So it is going to cost me $5. Confirm. Here on my crypto, you can see that the transaction has been broadcasted. If we click here, it's gone. But if you click here on the green pop-up, you will be taken to Etherscan to see the transaction. Right now it's pending. We should wait a few seconds. You can also open MetaMask, and you will see the list of transactions that you have submitted. This should be this one. If you lose it on my crypto. So once this is successfully mined, we should have our token on the ticker registry, our token symbol. Okay, so we're done with this. As you can see, the transaction was successful, and we use this register ticker function with these methods to perform the transaction. One thing that we can do to check what was sent, we can go here to the event logs. As we saw before, we can turn this into text, and you can see that this is the rain token, and this is the rain symbol. The other thing that we can do to confirm that everything was saved successfully is by going to the token, to the ticker registry smart contract. And if I query here on the rain token, you can see that now we have the rain token symbol within our ticker registry smart contract. So as you can see, this is the address that registered the token symbol, which is my address. This is the name of the token. This is that extra parameter that we didn't fill out, so it's all zeros. It's a null address. And the other thing that we are going to see here is, so this is the expiration date for our token symbol. As you recall, if we don't take action on our token before this date is reached, we lose the token symbol, and somebody else could come and say, okay, I'm going to register the rain token symbol for myself. So we need to deploy the token before we reach this date. This date, in order to see what's the human readable date is, we can go to epochconverter.com. So this is a unique Unix epoch Unix timestamp date. If you wanted to see what the real date is, you can paste it here, convert to human date, and you can see that this is the, well, actually this is today's date. Let me copy this. Sorry. What we need to do is we need to add, this is the token registration date. So this is today. The expiration date is this date plus this date, which is, so if we add this to this, okay, the expiration date for our token symbol is May 9th, 2018. So it's 7 days from now, which is correct. This version of the ticker registry has its token symbols expire after 7 days. On mainnet, this date might be changed. We will give issuers more time to complete all the steps before the token expires. So we now have our ticker symbol registered. We have checked that it's in there. The next step, now that we have our ticker symbol, is to register deploy our actual token. Any questions so far? So I see a lot of questions here. Let me check if there are any actual question about this process. Okay, no. Okay, very good. So if we look here, right now we completed this first step, which is getting our token symbol on the ticker registry. Let's assume that we know for sure that we will deploy the security token right now, that we have all the details, everything sorted out. So we are ready to deploy our token. So what we will do is we will now interact with this security token registry to find out, it will check if the ticker symbol that we enter has been registered on the ticker registry, and if it was us, it was this account that registered the ticker symbol. If it is, it will deploy the ST20 based security token for us. If you look here at this diagram, the security token registry is in charge of taking whatever is the latest version of the security token code, and it will deploy a security token based on that. So the way this is done is the security token registry knows which one is the latest version of the security token smart contract by using this proxy mechanism. So let's say that today we have this base security token, which I don't know, doesn't offer any voting capabilities. Down the road, when we at Polymath add that feature, we will now be working with the V2 of this security token. So now the security token registry would be pointing to this V2 of the security token and deploy that one for new issuers instead of using the old one. All tokens will still work nonetheless, and they are still ERC20 tokens under the hood. So nothing will happen with existing tokens, but new tokens will get some other features that we add down the road. Both of them would still be compatible and they would work the same, except for these new features, of course. So right now on Ropsten, we have this security token registry, which is pointing to this security token V1, which has all these models that we will see and interact more with in part 2 and part 3 of this of this guide. For now, all you need to know is that this security token registry is in charge of deploying the corresponding security token. So that's why we need to interact with this one before we get our security token. So now I'm going to go to the article. This is the address of the security token registry that we at Polymath also deployed a few weeks ago. If I click here, I can see on Ropsten this smart contract, and here I will be able to see the different tokens that were deployed to the network. So if I go here to read the smart contract, again we can see this and the code tab, because this contract was verified by the author by the developer of the smart contract. If I click here, if I go here to get security token address method, I can enter a token. So for example, I will enter Toro query, and I get the address of the Toro security token smart contract. So if I click here, I can see this. This is the Toro token, which is the token that I created a few weeks ago, 22 days ago. And these are transactions that have been going with this token. As I said before, our ST20 tokens are modified ERC20 tokens. That's why on Etherscan we get to see all the things that we would see of an ERC20 token. Like, for example, if I went to here to the token contract, Etherscan shows us for example the token holders. So as you can see here, this Toro token that I created a few weeks ago has these token holders, and you could see them from any other token out there, any ERC20 token out there, like, I don't know, Poly or whatever. You can see the total supply. You can see how many token holders it has, how many transfers have been done with this token, the decimals, and other information that I or you as the token issuer owner could fill here on Etherscan. If I click here on token holders chart, it's working. But you should see a nice graph with a pie chart with the different token holders. Nonetheless, you can see that here on this list. So if you see here, there are 6 token holders. This one has 500,000 tokens. This is me, as I said before. This is my address. So as the issuer of the token, I minted 500,000 tokens for me. And then these other tokens, by the way, this token, this mock token that I created, I deployed to Ropsten a few weeks ago. It already has an STO, an offering attached to it. So these other transactions that you see here, they were done by mock investors, other co-workers that were nice enough to send me Ropsten ETH in exchange of my Toro tokens. After we complete the 3 parts of this guide, you will be able to do the same. So as you can see here, I have all these tokens, and these other 3 addresses have all these other tokens. So back to the guide. So we have the security token registry address. What we are going to do now is we need to be able to interact with this contract on my crypto as we did before with the ticker registry. So we are going to repeat the same steps as we did before. The first thing that we need to do is we need to go here to my crypto. I'm going to refresh this screen so we are off to a fresh start. So again, I want to interact with the contract. I go to my crypto, to the contracts tab. The first thing that I need to do is I need to enter the token, the smart contract address. So I'm going to go here to, let me close all this. So I'm here at the security token registry, which is the smart contract that we need to interact with to deploy the security token of our ticket registration. So this is I'm going to copy the smart contract address, which you can see here or here on the address bar. I'm going to paste it here, and then we need the API, the interface to be able to interact with this contract, which again, since the code has been verified by us, by the developers, you can read the code. You can see exactly what this security token registry contract will do. And if we scroll down here to the let me see. Here to the generate security token, which is the method, the function that we will use now to deploy the token. You can see exactly what it does. I'm not going to go into details but basically we are checking that the name and the symbol that is being passed to this function of the security token registry, the name and the symbol are not zero, are not empty. And we are checking with the ticket registry that the token symbol exists to the name of to the address of the owner. And then if all this works, we are going to actually deploy the corresponding security token. So back to this, we need the API. As I said, since the code has been verified, we have access to the source code and we have access to the API. So we just click here, copy. The API is copied to the clipboard. Okay. We paste the API here, click on access. We now have access to all these functions from the from the smart contract of the security token registry. And the function that we are going to use, as I said just now, is generate security token. Once we click there, we need to enter the name, the symbol, the decimals, and token details of the token that we want to deploy. So the first few are very straightforward. The name is the name of the token. So if you recall, we entered the rain token. This is, you don't need to enter the same name as you did before. This is your last chance to change the name. Back in the front end and the dApps we are building, we are going to retrieve the name from the ticker symbol. But given that here we can't do so, you can just enter the same name that you entered before or a new name. This is going to be the name that you enter here is going to be the actual name of the token. So here you can enter the name of the token, the name of the company issuing the token, your name, whatever you want to enter here. This is going to be the display name of your token. This is that you could see of if you go to the Toro token, this is what you could see on the token contract. This is the name of the token and the token symbol. So this is the name that we are going to enter now, and the symbol does need to be the it has to be the same token symbol that we entered before. If you enter something else that hasn't been registered by you on the ticker registry, this transaction will fail. So make sure that you are entering the same token symbol that you entered before and that it hasn't yet expired. The decimals, this is how many decimals we want the token to have. So here, typically ERC20 tokens have 18 decimals. We know that for some cases, securities are different, and shares shouldn't be divisible. So right now here on this Toro release, you can enter whatever decimals you want. You could make this 0, so now you would have indivisible tokens, or you could enter 18 and have a typical token, ERC20 token. In a future release, we are going to add the option to make the tokens divisible or not. So regardless of what decimals value you enter, you would be able to tell the smart contract that you want your tokens not to be divisible. So any transaction that ends up in non-bound token transfer would fail, and UI's dApps will have to accommodate for that. And if you wanted, you could make this token divisible and have 18 decimals. So right now, to make it easy, we are going to use 18 decimals. And token symbols, just as with the ticker registry, this is an extra field, so you can add some other information that you think it's necessary, like the documentation backing your issuance, or some links to this documentation, or whatever other info you want. So we can leave this blank for now. We don't need this right now. So once I have the details of my token, I have to interact with MetaMask once again. This is the very same steps that we did before with the ticker registry. We are now doing this with the security token registry. So this is final. Be sure that you want to deploy the token, and these are the parameters that you want for your token. Remember that if you enter a token symbol that's different from the one that you register on the ticker symbol, this is going to fail. So once we are sure that we want this, we connect to MetaMask. We click here on write. We can enter how many ETH how much ETH we want to send to this contract. 0. It should always be 0. Since we are not paying ETH to this contract, I mean, we are using ETH to pay for the gas, but we are not sending ETH for any reason to the contract. And this is the gas limit. As you can see, it has been calculated automatically. It's like 3.5 million gas, which is quite high. But given that this is one of the most important transactions, and it does a lot of things under the hood, that's the reason why this is so expensive. So we click here on generate transaction. This will generate a transaction for us, which once we are sure this is it, we click here and we get the MetaMask pop-up asking us to confirm the transaction. As you can see, make sure that you are once again on Ropsten. This should be 0, as we are not sending any money to the contract. And this is how much this transaction is going to cost us. Given that I'm using a 20 Gwei gas price, you could go lower. If you enter 1 here, it will cost you almost $3. But the transaction would probably take longer to be processed. So I'm going to enter a high gas price, given that we are on Ropsten and I have all the fake money I want. So this is going to cost me more than $100, which is fine. This is fake money. Make sure that you are on Ropsten, by the way. So once you're sure you want to do that, you can click on confirm, which will send the transaction, will broadcast the transaction to the network. If I click on view transaction, I should be able to see what's happening right now. You can see it's pending, and this is calling the generate security token transaction. You can see the cost, the gas price that we sent, the gas limit that we entered. Actually, if you recall, my crypto was saying 3.5 million gas, then MetaMask calculated something else, 4.2 million. But now that this has been completed, you can see that it actually spent 3.5. The money that wasn't used, the ETH, the gas that wasn't used, was returned to me. So now that transaction have been completed, we can explore the event log. Well, actually, it's very hard for us to get anything out of this because, as I said, there are a lot of operations going on under the hood to get this token deployed. So there's a lot of information going here. So the best thing that you can do to check that your security token has been deployed is you can go to the security token registry. Let me close all this first. I'm going to open the security token registry. Go to read contract. Get security token address. If I enter here rain, which is the token that I use, I should get something. As you can see, this is the address of the smart contract of my security token. If I click here, you can see this is the security token that I just deployed. And if I go here instead of address, if I go to token, as you can see here on EtherScan, if you go to /token/ your token address, you can see the information that we were seeing before about Toro, the decimals, the smart contract, the total supply, the token holders. As you can see right now, what we have done is we just deployed the token with 0 total supply. What we are going to do in part 2 of this is to add some token holders, some shareholders of the company to the whitelist, so we can mint tokens, create tokens for them. So that will increase the total supply and the amount of token holders. Right now, you can see the token, but given that it's a 0 total supply token, there's not much to do here. There are no token holders, there are no token transfers. But if we go back to the actual smart contract, you can see a contract name here. The creator of the smart contract, which is the ticker, the security token registry, and the different transactions as they happen. And you can also read the code of the security token, which we will use, given that we will use this on part 2. As you can see, this is different from the other 2 contracts, given that given that this security token contract gets generated by the security token registry. It's not something that we created on our own. It's a contract generated by some other contract. So given that we haven't actually written the code for this contract, but either can detect that it matches the code from a similar smart contract, which is another security token contract, which is a Toro token that I deployed on Ropsten. We get access to the code. If you go here to the Toro token, if we go here to the Toro token smart contract, we have the code. Given that we at Polymath were the developers of this smart contract, we were able to verify this the code of this token. You wouldn't have access to the code, but EtherScan is nice enough to detect that there's some other contract with the same code, which is Toro, and because of that, we can see the code of this other token. And the other thing that we can see, of course, is the ABI, which is very important, as we will need this in part 2 to be able to interact with this smart contract to be able to whitelist people and mint tokens for them. And that's it. If you go to read the smart contract on this RAIN token, you can see all the information that we were seeing before, how many decimals it has, the total supply which is 0 right now, the name of the token, and all sorts of other information that we will be using on part 2 and 3 to access some other information and perform some other operations on our token. So that's it. After you complete this step, you would have your token on Ropsten using Polymath. On part 2, which we have an article which is going to be published later this week, we are going to mint whitelist shareholders and mint tokens to them. And then on part 3, the following week, you will be able to create and deploy an initial offering, an STO for this token to start selling them out in the open for investors that are first whitelisted. So thank you very much for listening in. Let me know if you have any questions. If you got stuck, if you got your token actually deployed, please share it here or through our social media so we can check it and and share it. And well, I'll check if I have any questions right now regarding the steps that we did. If not, we'll get back to you on these questions. So any questions about these 2 steps that we did today? All right. Thank you, everyone. Well, I have Daniel Fernandez saying that he has a lot of questions, but he needs to review the video first. So let's do this. Yeah, you can review the video, and next week try to follow this process. Try to get your token deployed, and next week on part 2, we can have you ask these questions and we can catch up, so we are all on the same page, and we can do part 2 together. All right. Thank you everyone, and stay tuned for part 2, which is going to be published in the next few days.